Hello everyone, my name is Jujar and today I'm going to read an essay to you. This essay is probably for the teachers watching this, but if a student is watching this as well, they might also find this quite interesting. So, the inspiration behind this essay came to me when I was thinking of some of the memorable students that I've had in my teaching journey and what exactly made them memorable. Because as students, we always have teachers that we remember for sometimes our whole lives. And I wanted to write an essay dedicated to the students that I found the most memorable. So without further ado, let me read that essay to you. I am very excited. Let me bring up my teleprompter because I cannot remember. I cannot memorize things. Let me start this. Let me make this slower. Okay, the title of this essay is a fun one. It's called "Memorable Are the Armadillos and the Porcupines." We all have memorable teachers, for good or sometimes not so good reasons. Similarly, teachers too have students that simply stay with them. And my goal as a teacher here is to mention my most memorable students. One might think at first that it is the students most notorious that stay in the minds of a teacher, or students who are best in the class. Some might think of the teacher's pet archetype. Although all of these can be memorable, there are two noteworthy exceptions to this pattern, from which teachers and students alike can learn a thing or two. The first exception: quiet kids. Teachers, good teachers not only remember the quieter kids but often has extra attention on them. Not always overt, but it's always present. They can be seen as an excellent barometer for how approachable a teacher is, and teachers get the most joy when the shyer student starts to participate in their class. I see them as a ball of potential rolled up like an armadillo, and my job is to create an environment safe enough for them to open up fully and fearlessly. Most, if not all, of the students in this first exception are what I call the best worst students. The best because once they start to come out of their shells, they always take your advice with the utmost sincerity and a childlike optimism. And the worst because if these students fail, either inside or out of the class, the teacher cannot help but take the blame of it all, and many times also take in the guilt that follows. They are the best because as they start to grow out of their shell, they become the biggest motivator for a teacher, making the often underpaid, underappreciated job all worth it. And the worst because they are the they are amazingly good at unveiling all the flaws of the teachers to themselves, who for the student are now nothing but flawless. They are the freaking best because their success brings both figurative and literal tears of joy in my eyes, and the absolute worst because they somehow make me more nervous for their grades after a test than I would ever be for mine. And yet, to all the armadillos I've ever taught, you are to blame for my love for this profession and my drive to become better. May you all shine in the brightness, with the brightness of the thousand suns that I know you have in you. The second exception: anti hero kids. The definition of an anti hero is someone who acts like a villain most of the times, but but he is a hero when it matters the most. These are perhaps some of the most interesting and therefore most memorable students that a teacher encounters in their teaching journey. Continuing with the scared animal theme, these kids too are curled up, but this time in a protective shell full of sharp quills like a protective porcupine. If the quiet kids take a lot of time and patience to finally open up, The anti hero kids will also prick you a couple of times before starting to put their guard down. Their quills come in a variety of shapes and sharpnesses, from the small pricks of simply disturbing your class or a stubborn unwillingness to learn, to sharp jabs of actively trying to bully the teacher. I've experienced both and more. Still, they are some of my most favorite students. Now, at this point, let me share with you two personal and profound stories which would help you identify these porcupines. Imagine a thin as stick, bespectacled 18-year-old boy standing in front of a class full of students of similar age who are making fun of his shaky legs and even more shaky voice, not letting him speak more than a few words at a time as he failingly tries to quiet the class. That boy was me in my first class. As the tears in my eyes well up, about to create a tsunami of biblical proportion, comes a loud cry. Would you all just shut up and listen to him? That right there was the porcupine of my class. Later in my teaching journey, when the stick had grown into a sizable tree, on a jolly afternoon, the whole class was just having fun, bantering with each other and with me. A joke would fly at me, I would return it with an equal punch, all parties trying to outwit each other. In this back and forth, someone obliviously throws a hurtful insult towards an armadillo. The whole class bursts into laughter, except for two people. One, the obvious, was me. The other was the anti hero. To my fellow teachers, these two can make for great friends, helping each other come out of their shells. Now, I should say that these students are not always the good guys. That would make them just regular heroes. And they find that too boring, I think. Their unwarranted fearlessness often have them punching above their weight class, and if they sense even an iota of threat from anyone, but especially the teacher, they bring a nice bouquet of sharp quills out for you. What's the solution then, you might ask? It's pretty simple actually. Never stand in front of them in a protest of egos, but always beside them in confident neutrality. So, to all the porcupines I have ever taught, I say this with deep gratitude and love. You may prick my skin all you want, but my heart you never hurt. May you all remain the courageous heroes when it matters the most. If only I could have just a fraction of the bright eyed optimism of my armadillos or the righteous courage of my porcupines, I would become a better teacher, a better student, and perhaps a better person. Thank you so much for listening to me and my essay. Now, let me bring myself back. Now, my request to any teachers who might be watching this because they just found me randomly on the internet, or I might have sent you this link intentionally, and what I want you to do is maybe tell me in private or in the comments down below, have you ever encountered the armadillo or the porcupine in your class? And did they end up becoming your most memorable students? Anyways, thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.